Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leeds View podcast. We do these podcasts twice a week on a Tuesday and on a Thursday. We're available on all your audio podcasting platforms, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Also on YouTube as well, if this is the kind of stuff that you're into, along with our daily updates. And we are now part of the Sports Social Network. You can give us a follow, a channel rating, and hit like on YouTube and subscribe. Right. Let's crack on. I'm delighted always to be joined by Jerry McNamee and Paul Brooker to talk about what's going on with Leeds this week, as well as a look ahead to the weekend's action coming up, which will be a very interesting weekend. I imagine we'll be saying for the next couple of weeks anyway, around Leeds United and where we sit in the league table after a, how do I describe this? Grubby, dirty win at the weekend in terms of the style of football, but a very good win and an essential win for Leeds. I'll go check in with the lads and see how they're getting on. Paul, how are you, mate? Thanks for rushing back from work to get here.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Anything for the team? Anything for the team? There we go. No, I'm good. I'm all right, thank you. Yeah. There's a lot going on. Not enough. It seems to, with Leeds, it seems to be the case where there's loads and loads going on, and then out of nowhere, nothing's going on, and then there's loads happening. So there's a lot going on. We've had, and we'll not to rush into the show too much, but we'll probably chat about it in a bit with the transfer links and stuff and things like that. So it's just it's a waiting game again, isn't it? What we've got 11 days of the transfer window left. So it's just a case of just waiting and seeing what happens. And other than that, I am well. I have passed my germs onto my wife. So she is now suffering as I was suffering. So we're all good.
I'm sure she loves that. I'm sure she's nothing but happy and thankful for you bringing that home. Jerry, how are you doing, mate? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was lovely, grubby and dirty. Yes, it was nice. Enjoyed that. Deserved win. I was amazed that I always thought that guy was Okafor, but apparently he's Nemecha, according to Match of the Day. Did you see that?
Match of the Day,
yeah. Absolute. What bad? How bad is that for a flagship program? You sort of you could even. No, I won't even go where I was going to go with having pictures of different players, but it's just so bad. But yeah, the worst thing I saw this weekend was Man City and Man United fans locked in a box, avoiding the score, to be revealed by Roy Keane. And Sky, what are you doing? No, that was bad. Billy Peacock-Farrell as goalkeeper giving the ball away and somebody kicking the ball into somebody's backside for Stockport. They were the things that amused me over the weekend. It was quite good. But yeah, good win for us. Deserved win. Players missing. Changed the keeper. But you look at everybody else. We're the sanest club around. We're running our team well. We've got a good coach. We got players who are playing well, and fans who are reasonably happy. And you look around us, and it's chaos. So long may it continue. But we're Leeds, so we always know where something can happen. As long as we stay out of Greenland, that's all we need to do. Don't get involved.
Everybody should stay out of Greenland, Bar Greenland. That's another topic for a much bigger day. But yeah, won't get into
covered everything there.
Like Joe Blackburn, someone rubbing his hands, dying to have a geopolitical conversation. We won't be doing that. And we've got a bit of stuff to get stuck in tonight. We're going to cover off some of the transfer stuff at the start of the pod, and then we're going to get into the football matters at the end, because it has been an interesting week. We have Buonanotte, or as Andrea has now told me, Buonanotte means good night in Italian. So wait for that headline at some point. He's in the door, doesn't get a run out at the weekend, didn't need to, even with the players being out of the side. But there is a lot of talk about other players coming in. We'll get to the Romano Schmid, as I have been corrected on my pronunciation of Schmid. The D apparently is pronounced as a T, as we were also corrected on the weekend on the watch along on Noah Okafor's pronunciation, because Robbie Elliott on commentary for TNT kept pronouncing it Okafor. And I at one point was saying that's an unusual pronunciation of his name. And then somebody has corrected me and said, actually, it's of African descent and it is pronounced Okafor. That is the proper pronunciation of it. So we'll see if Brendan Law starts doing it next week, we know it's the right way. So yeah, we had that.
Call him Noah. Yeah, Noah. Noah. Yeah.
Noah, I think it's still pronounced Noah, but yeah, we'll get corrected on that one as well. But yeah, there you go. There's your corrections and your dialect on the names. But yeah, the big one that's been floating around is Jorgen Strand-Larsen. There's been a bit of development in that this week as well. Myself and Paul have been talking about this probably the last 2 days on and off, but he does appear to be, for all intents and purposes, the one that Leeds are chasing. And we'll get to the Romano Schmid in a bit. But if you look at the initial stories that came out around this, teams that were interested in him were Leeds, Crystal Palace, West Ham, and Nottingham Forest. Forest was the one that probably worried a lot of people because A, they don't care about PSR, and B, Sean Dyche loves a 6-foot+ striker. So there was that. Now, in the last couple of days, some of their situations have started to change. Nottingham Forest have had a bid accepted for, get it right again, Napoli striker Lorenzo Luca. It is Napoli, Paul, isn't it? It's not. I keep the Lazio thing just flying in my head. It's Napoli, yeah. Who is 6'5", nearly 6'6". So that checks the big bastard up front for Sean Dyche. West Ham have signed 2 strikers, and Crystal Palace at the moment are involved in some sort of a swapsy with Aston Villa for Gussan, with Mateta going the other way, which would possibly take them out of the mix as well, which could leave Leeds potentially with a clear run at this, along with some other European clubs that are interested in him. Now, he's not everyone's cup of tea. There's a lot of people saying stay away from him, mostly based on what's going on this year with him. But Paul, he fits the bill, what Leeds want. It does appear to be the one that Leeds are going to persevere it. We just don't want it to get to Rodrigo Muniz territory where we're, this is the one, and we're going to wait, and then the window's closed, and we don't get him.
No, it absolutely is. Another good thing to point out as well with West Ham is obviously Callum Wilson is now staying. He's not going.
Yeah.
So there's 3 strikers now that they've got. So the likelihood of them going and getting another striker would be ridiculous in any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, it's just the Crystal Palace swap. The big thing with Crystal Palace in the first instance is obviously it's a bit of a bin fire down there at the moment with the players that are leaving. But also as well, it was Glasner that really wanted Strand-Larsen to come to Crystal Palace. So Glasner's now off at the end of the season. So that would just probably temper that down slightly. So it's just a case of we can all sit and speculate till we're blue in the face, can't we? We can all sit here and go, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But what you've got to try and do is just disseminate the information that you've got it as you can see it, and then try and put out as much information as you possibly can, and kind of go, look, this potentially could mean this. It could also mean this. But if we're going to be going for a Strand-Larsen, it's about how we finance the deal and how that is actually done. Is it going to be a loan till the end of the season with an obligation and an agreement? So we say we'll put, I don't know, for argument's sake, we stick 10 million down now. It leaves a further 20 million for argument's sake to be played. So we amortize that over 4 years for argument's sake. So it's 5 million a year. That's what you would term as creative, maybe sensible accounting. But then off of the back of that, you have to think that the financial rules are going to be changing next season as well. So that amortization that we're thinking is a good idea now, is that going to be a good idea moving into the new ways that it's all going to work? So it's, God, I wish the whole transfer thing is nuts as far as I'm concerned, in the way that it all works and the way that it's all put together. You've just got to, yeah, I know we're going to come on to it, the Schmid thing, but I did a video probably about 11 o'clock at night with regards to Schmid, but you have to caveat it so much because this is the information as we have it. You make of it what you will, but these are the reasons that I'm going to give why I think either yes or no as to where we're kind of going to be with everything. So it is literally a case of waiting and seeing. But you're never absolutely absolute in these things. You are trying to. We're all kind of chasing our tails a little bit in January. There's 10 days of the window left. As I said, 10, 11 days of the window left. It's about whether or not a deal can be structured. You've got, I mean, Team Talk have come out about 20 to 4 this afternoon and said that there is that there is a new make weight that's come out in to add as a player to add on for this, but Wolves have turned around and said they're not going to be bullied. There's so much information. You've got to be so careful where you get the information from, and then just try and not set it on fire at the same time, and don't go too early with stuff because you end up looking like an idiot. as tough as it is.
Yeah, I tend to sit on it overnight as well and just have a little look and see. Because by the time that news came out about Romano Schmid, we'll get on to him now in a sec, it was done. He was coming to Leeds. It was an exclusive. He's on his way. And then by the following morning, not only was he not coming, he was categorically not coming and completely dismissed. So hanging on those extra couple. I know it's tempting for the clicks to go, rah, there we go. Yeah, we got a player. And then, 12 hours later, you're like, well, actually, no, we didn't. So yeah, we like to sit on them for a little bit longer and just digest it a bit and see what is actually floating around. But yeah, it's an interesting one. A team talk exclusive. And by the time you finish reading it, so we're exactly where we were. Nothing has actually developed here. Yeah, you could get them if you do this, but they've said no, so you're not doing that. So you're exactly where you were before, except you've lost 2.5 minutes of your life reading this article. So yeah, pinch of salt with team talk, as I always say. They do get the odd thing correct, and they do get information. So because they got Sky Sports journalists working for them, so it's worth every now and then at least putting the stories out about them. But you do have to take everything they say. Well, not literally, and take a healthy chunk of skepticism. Jerry, what's your take on the transfer drama right now? It does look like you're going to do a little bit more business.
I haven't had a chance. I've been too busy being immersed and worried about David Beckham and his family. But that's where we go. I've marked myself safe, and I've turned down the Beckham son's job. So yeah, that's. I mean, never mind geopolitics. That's the big story. A bloke who once wore a sarong and kicked a free kick against Greece. But anyway, that's
nepotism. Thy name is Brooklyn.
Are we signing him? Nepotism. He's bloody good.
Also, yeah, plays for Greece, doesn't he?
Nepotism.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I thought it was mad. David Beckham made a response to it today. He was like, "No one cares. Talk to him yourself. No. Ring him. He's your son."
But it was headlines today. Anyway, Strand-Larsen, I suppose you have to. Back to what we were talking about. He was excellent last year and looked the sort of striker who's going to go on in the Premier League. I think this year, a mixture of probably sulking a bit because he probably wanted to go to Newcastle, wasn't it, in the summer, and playing in a team that was completely off form, which now 5 matches unbeaten. But you think his agent's a Leeds fan, so he'll know the club. There's not any selling needs to be done there from his point of view. And you wonder if he in his contract would Wolves have any relegation clauses in there. So maybe they need to do the deal anyway. So again, I keep saying, as long as this doesn't involve a plane or somebody sitting somewhere and we're waiting and then we don't sign anybody, I think it just get it done. I worry about the money, but as you structure it there, Paul, that probably gets us around PRS, PSR, whatever it is, or just ask someone at Man City how they do it. And it's probably a good deal to get in. Would mean Pirro goes, probably. Not going to Celtic, of course. That would have been the funniest thing ever. I would have loved that. Just to wind up Rangers.
Can I ask you about that? Where do you sit on this? Because again, ignoring the Rangers Celtic affiliation stuff between us as Irish people on a podcast talking about Leeds United, but it doesn't sound like it's great business from a Leeds United perspective to just not do business with somebody because there might be potential ownership involving with that club as well. Like, I mean, you are. If no one else wants Joe Pirro and you're in a situation where you have to get rid of him by the end of the window and you've gone, well, it's not going to Celtic. So, but should you do that?
Yeah, well, no, you know what they're like. Jock Steen once said, "Who would you sign, the best Catholic or the best Protestant?" He says, best Catholic, or best Protestant, because they won't sign the best Catholic. But that's old days. That's Jock Steen said that. But if the shoe was in the other foot, if 49ers own Celtic, I suppose I wouldn't be happy about it. But as far as doing business, you got to do these things. We've going to Celtic would be great, but it's not going to happen. And for those folks, it's beyond football, that, and it's probably a bit mad. But I suppose 49ers, if you're there, you think, we don't need that. We don't need to be doing that sort of stuff. But it looks like Pro might be the sacrificial lamb in this if he goes. I hope he doesn't. I'd like to see him do all right, but he's not really stepped up at any time this year when he's needed to. And somebody said, when you're doing business like this and trying to keep within the rules, sometimes you've got to sell a player for decent money who you're emotionally attached to. If someone comes in for Tanaka, offers 40 million, what do? You don't want him to go, but then you think, it's good business. So You got to do the right things, because we've had mad Januaries before where we were imploding and that. So this is a nice position to be in, that we're looking at £30 million strikers. But I hope to do the deal, and it looks like, as you say, all the other clubs seem to be out of the system. They seem to have done their business. So let's see what happens in the next week. I don't know where. Did he play at the weekend, Strand-Larsen? I'm not sure. Was he on the bench?
He was on the bench.
On the bench, yeah. So that's probably a sign, because when Wolves they've been doing well, but in the last few weeks. But you would think that that's the sort of player they want to utilise. So it's watch this space, but hopefully we get him across the line. But we don't seem to be linked with anybody else at the moment. There's not major stories unless you go wild and wonderful. As you mentioned, Mr. Schmid. That seems to, that was. From what I gather, he was being talked about, but Buonanotte came in, and that seems, people say, well, that was the one instead of him. So let's wait and see. But let's wait and see. Is Rodrigo De Paul still available? Your man Ryan Kettle from AC Milan.
Ryan Kent,
Milan. Yeah, and Ryan Kent there. And Gary Hooper. Gary Hooper was always a favourite of mine.
Yeah. He was always linked. Well. Yeah. Craig McKell-Smith.
Yeah, Craig McKell. Yes. God, yeah. God, we are all talking about that.
The glory days.
The glory days, getting strikers in. And then sell Matt Smith at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, that was the way we did business. Yeah, but not anymore. We're the ones looking. And is there an outlier out there? On the last day, is there a loan deal to be done quickly? You know, there was the Harry Wilson one that nearly probably got done. Is something like that going to pop up on the last day? If we get 2-3 players in, fans, I think, are reasonably happy at that business. And I suppose the centre half is the one, because if Bijou is out, I think Fark said this, it's 4 to 5 weeks, but if it's any longer, they'll have to have a think what if they do anything, because we'd be a bit short in that area, seeing as we're playing 3 at the back.
Yeah, he said if there's any reoccurrence or any issues between now and the end of the window, they will look to the market to try and sort that position out if they have to. I would imagine that's potentially a Danilo Doki shaped figure if he's still floating around by that stage, and they have to bring that forward rather than waiting for a free transfer in the summer. Their preference of that one apparently is a free transfer. There's a ton of clubs interested in him now. And James Justin was very good at the right weekend.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's interesting. And then Borneo on the bench. So yeah, there's lots to talk. We'll get to that in a couple of seconds time. Paul, let's talk about the Romano Schmid transfer. These are his numbers from Bundesliga this year. By the way, last year his numbers were pretty much in and around the exact same for the whole season there as well.
Pretty average, isn't he?
Passes. The thing with this is, I thought him and Buonanotte could both very easily slide into this team, because Buonanotte can play as I was going to say outside right player there for a second, but a right hand side winger. He can also play behind the striker in a 2, which again, so can Schmidt. So it's an interesting one, Paul. But key passes first in the Bundesliga against other midfielders. He's first in expected assists, shot assists, passes into the penalty area, accurate crosses, deep completions. His XA and XG are first. His successful dribbles are first, and his successful attacking actions are first. No midfielder has more key passes in the top 5 European leagues. Which, when you look at that, you're like,
"Go, what are we waiting on?
Go get him, lads."
Yeah, pretty much. That's how you feel about it. You look at it and go, Jesus Christ, bring me that child of a man who is so good.
I've gotten over Edward Spurgeon rapidly when I read all this and then looked at him.
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's key passes, 99% percentile for key passes.
Nuts.
That's just like offensive duels, 81% percentile for offensive duels
from an attacking midfield.
Yeah. I mean, what he sits in the.
Is that 81% or 81 percentile? Because 81 percentile would have him down near the lower end of it, rather.
No, 81 percentile. So he's way up there for that. His archetypal comparison is ridiculously high at the same time as well. He sat probably it's about 85%. Overall for progressive runs, and he's sat at from the passes point of view, he's sat at somewhere near 60% for the passes point of view. Just everything that he does, or everything that he's very, very good at, is just he's nuts. Just everything is.
Yeah,
I don't understand how more people aren't looking at this player.
I was just gonna say, right? Yeah, there's be Russian clubs. Apparently, Sunderland are having a look at him.
See that somebody tried to say that Sunderland were also having a look at Strand-Larsen as well, and it's just like, well, who said that? And it's like, well, Tiff and Pallet, and I went, well, you might as well just forget about it, really. To be honest with you, just
burn it, put it in the bin and
just
burn
let
it.
that one go by. Was that in between a glass of milk or not? I can't tell you, but it just sorry, but it's just the way this situation just kind of exploded out of nowhere. And it's, what I said to you over messaging, and what I said in my video about Schmidt as well is that I would suggest that the club are probably quite annoyed that all of this information's actually come out, and they've had to come out and say something about it. And what this shows is the level of control that probably the club now have over the quote unquote local press versus European press. So if you look at the two transfer links that have had the most information so far this season, have come out with the most bits and pieces where people have kind of stuck the colours to the mast a little bit. Doki and Schmidt, they're the two where people have really, really stuck their colours to the mast. Yeah. And that's
Doki came from Plettenberg, and Schmidt came from Romano.
Correct. So what that says to me is that the agents are a little bit more loose-lipped in Europe, obviously, with the general normal European people that come out. That's nothing against Plettenberg or Romano. It's just that's just the way that things generally tend to happen. So it was with the Buonanotte transfer. It was literally, we found out on the day. 7 hours later, he'd signed. So it was just when that information comes to light and when it's actually happening. And I think that in the summer, the club were very, very annoyed at the amount of information that was getting leaked, because it had, I mean, effectively, and again, it's not a slight on Sunderland, I'm having a bit of a playful dig. It was almost as if Sunderland were just looking over our shoulder and going, oh, they want that one? Oh, we'll go take that one. We'll take that one then. So it just, for this one, just as a player, he would if we don't get Buonanotte on a permanent, for me as a player, he would be absolutely incredible for us. Again, he elevates where we're at, and you could play both if you wanted to. It just
I think you could,
but I mean, at 15 million euros,
I know it's a steal, isn't it?
That's an
and again, when you take into consideration how well Anton Stach has settled into life in the Premier League from the Bundesliga. So,
do you know what we should do? We should say, keep our Schmidt.
I'll take yours.
We'll take yours.
Keep Wober.
We'll also throw in Wober as well. And you can keep Wober.
They'll never fall for that.
Wow, I know. Could we know?
I was looking okay if you said Wober.
So we could get them. Just keep. You can keep those two and just give us him. That'll be absolutely fine. Yeah. They are looking at a player to replace him, though, aren't they? There was that.
They are actually. No, they are looking at someone as well. Yeah, there's a couple.
So there is, like I said, there's no smoke without fire. You've just got to keep a tight head on it and just see where the information is coming from. But genuinely, he's a ridiculously. His ceiling is absolutely bonkers, in my opinion.
Gotta get him.
Yeah, he's still 25 years of age as well. Jerry, there was interesting stuff today. Graham Smith kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit around how journalists get information from Leeds United and what the talk or transfer talk is between them. He said that basically what happens is if you ask Leeds United about a linked player and they have genuinely got interest in that player, they will put their hands up and say, yeah, we do. But he did also say that when Romano broke the story about Buonanotte signing for Leeds, he was already in Thorpe Arch at that point. That's why it felt like it happened so quickly. And he also said when the YEP broke the story about Lucas Meche, he was all but signed and done at that stage. And the same happened with Sebastian Borneo. So rather than these transfers looking like they've come out of absolutely nowhere and been done rapidly, Leeds have just done a really good job of keeping everyone's mouth shut and keeping it behind closed doors until they want the information to get out. But they have said that he is a player they admire and he is a player that they were considering, but they've decided not to bring him in now since they got Buonanotte. And you would imagine that's because of transfer fee as well in PSR. If they're trying to spend money on Strand-Larsen, he's going to cost 15 million quid. You get Buonanotte on a loan.
I think I'd rather get him. Is what's that archetype, whatever program?
Sarge Nemesis.
Progression. I think I've got tablets for that, but anyway, mine's a bit strange. he went, oh, my heart settled back. Oh yeah. I mean, them stats are incredible. You can't get much better than that. And 15 million euros. I just go out and get them. Yeah, surely. We could sell one player and that balance that out. I think I'd rather see that deal done than Strand-Larsen, but. Yeah, he would be, as long as nobody else, as you say, Sunderland or somebody nips in and gets him, that'd be a killer. But I certainly think that's someone we should get in. And, he can't have enough quality in a squad and something to rotate and something, when the last, 16, 17 games left, there'll be times when we need that just bit extra and then building for next year. And he looks quality. So, yeah, it'd be nice if you get him. And Bonanotte obviously got in, and maybe the centre half. That'd be good business all around. And Strand-Larsen. Yeah, just throw that in. Oh, that'd be amazing.
It'd be lovely.
And get them all in about the 25th, and then we just put our feet up on deadline day and laugh at everybody. Yeah.
Job done.
You lot argue amongst yourselves. We're just going to sit here and enjoy. Yeah,
I dream for that day.
Yeah, Leeds fans would still be moaning when we got nobody in.
Well, deadline day, if you don't do any business on deadline day, you haven't done any business at all, essentially. In some ways.
Why isn't there a bloke standing outside Ellen or the Thorpe Arch with a microphone?
Yeah.
Why isn't there anybody
that's where
there?
It came from. I think that's always where that came from. But anyway, they don't do that anymore. But it's interesting. They did say that it would take something extraordinary to bring Leeds back to the table for this one, and it could be a case in the summer, but it could also be a case if somebody gets injured between now and the end of the month as well, you might see them dip in. So he's definitely on their short list. He is a player they like. He's a tidy player as well, but it's interesting to get the information from Graham Smith as well around them. But not for now anyway. Not happening for now. We're still on talk about the football, the actual football stuff, and let's talk about Fulham. Jerry, you're at the game.
Yeah,
were you at the game? I'm assuming you're at the game.
Yes. Yeah, it was 3 o'clock. It was weird.
No, I know. Yeah, normal time and a normal day to play a football match. It's not what you'd call a game for the purists. Not a classic football match by any stretch of the imagination. Better second half from us than first half. Bit of a sloppy, scrappy enough game, and it did feel very much like a snatch and grab because of the manner of the win. But when you look at the game, Leeds had the far better chances. Leeds had far more of the attacking threats in the game, and for all intents and purposes deserved to win that match the way they did. And it was nice to rectify the ghost of Gabby Goodwinson as well from the first game.
Yeah, I thought we totally deserved it. It was great start, a great tribute to Terry Orth at the start. And I know his family was there, and it was Colin Wood, the fan who sadly passed away. There was a tribute to him and in the program, so that was good. The Leeds family stepped up, but I thought Fulham early on looked dangerous, and you thought they're breaking through. Goodmunson made a couple of great interceptions. I think it was Sessegnon was through, and he got in front of him and turned a couple of times, and he was looking brilliant. Just if we forget his shots on goal, Gabby's shots on goals, then he had a brilliant game. Yeah, a couple of bad decisions there, but he was excellent. I thought you said James Justin stepped up. He's quality. I mean, we've got 3 Premier League players, him, Longstaff, and Calvert-Lewin, who've come into the squad. That makes a difference. Not people who've never been in the Premier League, and they've made a difference this year. I thought all around, Fulham had a spell, but we overall, I think, dominated without being brilliant. Okafor, get your knee over the ball. Too many going into row Z. I'm still not sure about him. He's in and out of the game. Willie deserves a chance, maybe. Brendan continues to defy us, little
standing ovation.
Sod.
Yeah.
Fed up from now. Yeah, fed up. He just does it. And a great cross in for Calvert-Lewin. Goalkeeper, interesting. We didn't expect he'd drop Perry, but he did. And is this the new Daniel Farke? Yeah, did you say he probably would? I was surprised. And was like, that's talking about transfers in the summer. Probably that's an area that we would probably have to get some quality in. And I think Perry, that might be the. But Darlow, other than his mad header, didn't do anything wrong. Didn't have major stuff to do. Looked safe enough. I thought the back three, Ampadu, Rodon, all the usual old hits were there. Gruev, he's just doing the job, isn't he?
Yep.
He just, you have to watch him, otherwise you don't notice him. But he gets through so much work, and I really like Gruev. I think he needs a new haircut though, doesn't he? He's a bit samey, but never mind. Calvert-Lewin again, not one of his games that that chance we all thought was in from Brendan's cross, but the work he gets through, the little nudges, the little winning throws, winning corners, he's phenomenal. And Nemecha, I mean, match of the day. Don't know what, as I said earlier, Nemecha from the Rocket Four. That was poor. But Daniel Farke said his first 3 touches, even we were saying, oh God. And then his next three touches, one near post header on the top of the net, the goal. What an acrobatic performance that was for the goal. And then he was the one-on-one, great save by the keeper. And I thought Fulham, flattered to deceive, didn't do a whole lot. This is a team in 9th who are unbeaten in 6 games, so no mugs, and we controlled it. And throughout the team, and I think the thing was we were probably at West Ham draw, and we were thinking, yeah, draw, take that. And he put on attacking subs that worked. Yeah, and you see that goal. The goal we scored was Willie and Tanaka and even Brendan just scrapping. I think even Silva said they lost those duels, and that's one thing we've been doing this year. On those where we lose, there's somebody else there scrapping and winning those and really getting stuck in, and that makes such a difference. So I'm worried. We were worried at the start when we saw the team. Bijol out injured, Stack out injured after I'm saying that they had a clean bill of health, but Stack possibly back for the everything, and Bijol more worry, and it's a shame because he's been outstanding. But again, our defense played well. It looked like 5 when we were defending, 3 when we were attacking. And everybody just seems to know their job now. It all slots in. People come in off the bench. It all seems to work. So scruffy, not great to watch. If you're a Leeds fan, it was great. Fulham couldn't sell all their tickets. And this sit down when they go away. I think they were having...
It's like a home game for them.
Yeah, I think they were having wine and cheese and some guacamole on the side. They look the type. Fulham are Fulham. You know, I think they were looking to see. Yeah. Some Fulham fan asked me, "Where's the swimming pool?" You know, because we've got one on the ground. Yeah, so it's that puddle over there.
Fulham to Jerry's list of fans that have got this year. Just knocking them off the list.
They're jolly lads. They're jolly lads. Yeah, good day all round. I was really.
Do they have a swimming pool on the top of their stand?
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need. Why? That's so wrong. Like the game's gone.
Why would you have a swimming pool? Oh, and I give Barry his picture, and he loved it. Remember, I showed you that picture of the 1947 team. Our old friend Barry, and he loved it. So we had a good day. And I brought sweets as well, which is always good. So it was a good day.
Yeah.
Except for bloody
West Ham. In a few weeks' time.
I still love him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Paul. So Jerry's touched on the key beats on that one as well. You go into the game and you're missing Yacobial, who, as you said to me recently, fastly becoming your favourite player in the Leeds United shirt. He's been phenomenal for Leeds.
Yep.
Also, Stack. And I think I probably a little bit more critical of Stack than probably he deserves it at times. I tend to think he is slow starting in games but builds into it. But what I will say is you absolutely noticed that he wasn't on the park against Fulham. He was missed. You could see that he was missed. He adds something extra in there. And you're thinking that's not ideal. And the goalkeeper's changed as well for Darlow. And you're thinking that's a lot of changes. And then Rodon's gone into the centre. So there's a positional change in there as well. And you don't want to be doing that in Premier League games, making too many changes with a game. We did notice that BL wasn't in the side. Did notice that Strack wasn't there, but still got the job done. As Jerry said, and there's a lot of people after the game on our instant match reaction. We're trying to say how good Ilya Gruev was in that game as well. I always say he does the dirty, nasty side of football quite well. He wins his tackles, he passes the ball, he covers passing lanes. And again, as Jerry said, if you don't watch him, you don't notice that stuff, but gets about that kind of stuff. Hard work and performance from Leeds. But again, Paul, another performance where I've looked at this Leeds side over the last 6-7 games and gone, there's nothing about how we played that makes us look like a side that are going to struggle or look like a side that don't belong in the Premier League. Like we were up to par with Fulham, if not better than them throughout that game. And at no point did I think we'll lose this. I was thinking about 75 minutes, maybe start to think about hanging on for a draw here and now. That might not be a bad result. And then Daniel Farke makes the positive changes, and that's great. I mean, it's a brand new Leeds, a brand new Daniel Farke. It's fantastic to see.
It is. It is really, really good. What's been really pleasing so far for me about this season is how everybody has kind of grown into being Premier League player. And that's what's been a really, really nice thing to see. The number of changes and positional changes that were in this game in particular, particularly in key areas, you kind of think, oh God, what's going to go on? Rodon basically turned into the old Mark II and made Jimenez look absolutely normal. I didn't even notice him other than him throwing himself to the ground. Justin is just, I don't know what the Leicester players were on, but they were absolutely full of bobbins when they turned around and said he's an absolutely useless player. He's not. He's so dependable and calming, I think is the right thing to say. And the same with Darlow. I said to you that I thought he was going to play Darlow, and I was proved right. It doesn't make me a soothsayer. It just means that my opinion was followed through. So that's good. But again, with Darlow, he's got that calming aspect about him. And the nice thing as well with Darlow is for that partnership with Rodon. Rodon knows what he's going to do, knows where he's going to be. So it doesn't affect the overall performance of his game. I thought Darlow's kicking was very, very good as well.
Very good. Short stuff specifically was very good. Yeah,
really, really good. It was difficult for Calvert-Lewin because he gets very isolated at times, or he can get isolated at times, depending on how we're playing. If there's nobody close to him, sometimes he gets isolated. But again, the work that he actually gets through is phenomenal. I'm not bothered what anybody says. And he said himself that the goals for him are a bonus. His thing is helping the team. That's what he wants to be able to do. So I've got no issues with that. Okafor is the one that's worrying me slightly. He's a little bit too wishy-washy in games at times. You see it, and you can see that quality, but I want to see it maintained. A la Solomon, the back end of last season, how Solomon stepped up to the plate and was continually doing all of the right things. Aronson is just Aronson. Gruev, we've talked about Gruev. Goodmanson kept Sessegnon in his pocket literally the entire game. Good redemption game for him, especially against with it being against Fulham. But for me, we need to talk about Ampadu. We need to have a proper conversation about
fantastic.
Ampadu. He is so good. It's just, and the thing is, and people going, oh, Gruev, and I didn't see him very much in the game. The work that Gruev gets through allows Ampadu to sit a little bit deeper, pick the ball up a little bit deeper, flick the ball through, do other little bits and pieces. It allows that to happen. And then we get to a stage where we think, like you said, do we just kind of go for the draw and the clean sheet here? Because that could be quite good. And Farke's like, nope, we're going for the win. Let's do it. And in that sequence of passes, that goal actually perfectly describes the type of team that we are this season. That fighting, battling, scrapping. Really nice start of build-up play between Nemecha and Calvert-Lewin. The little 1-2 passes and stuff that were coming through. Lovely to see. I know a lot of people were criticising Nemecha when he came on because there was a couple of
all over the place, Paul. It was all over the place, Paul.
He was. Don't care. He scored. And then just we kept losing the ball over on the right-hand side, but we kept putting a foot in to try and win the ball back. And then Tanaka stabs, and again, there's not enough credence given to this ball by Tanaka. That little stab with the outside of his boot for the ball into Ampadu. Yeah, Ampadu.
What's he doing over there?
I have no idea.
A winger, Ampadu.
Doesn't even look up and just flicks an absolute beautiful ball in. Let's be fair, Nemecha has no right to win that. None. It was desire and determination that got him to the ball. And that little sequence, the build-up and everything to that goal perfectly sums up what Leeds has been about this season and what we've particularly been about since the Man City game. I am annoyed at Nemecha because he should have played it across to Calvert-Lewin, but the only reason it wasn't 2-0 is because Leno pulls off an absolute wonder save. That save was ridiculous, but we deserved it. Fulham, we made the absolute whiz kid that is Wilson look normal for the entire match. I mean, the fact that Goodmanson got away from him and then got away from him absolutely burned him for pace. think he should have been sent off, but that's by the by. That's just my own opinion. I think it was cynical because it wasn't an attempt to get the ball or anything like that. It was just, I'm taking the player out. So there's differences within that. Lukic should have been sent off as well because of the kicking of the ball away. Yeah. But it's, what do we do? It's a particular ref that we all don't like. But to say that they're 9th, 10th, they were time wasting.
Yeah.
For such a long period of time. It was a massive, massive battle in the first half. I said it. It's a turgid game because it's a battle in the middle of midfield. If you like watching your defensive stuff and your midfield stuff, you're fine. You'll enjoy this game. Second half, Fulham just went, we're just going to camp in our own half and not do anything. And then we just had to break them down, and we did in the end, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, slow walk-offs.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're a sports analyst, that first half is a very interesting first half because of the cancelling out of each other nearly to a degree. Both sides playing pretty much the same way of, like, if we can't go forward, we go back to our goalkeeper. Both sides were doing the same thing, but Leeds absolutely went for it, grabbed away scruff like that. That slow start to the second half, but it did, once they got past that, they got going and got going really well. So yeah, it was massive. And again, if you just to throw them up on the screen, if you look at the league table there in the last 5 games, specifically the last one game, only ourselves and West Ham picked up a win in the bottom half from 10th down at the weekend. So that's massive as well because it opens a gap. And also the fact that West Ham got a late winner as well meant that win was a little bit sweeter and keeps the gap. But what's interesting, Steph and Jerry were talking about this before we came on, Jerry, and it's Leeds there's less points between Leeds and 10th than there is between Leeds and the relegation zone. Not saying we're going for 10th in Europe, I'm not getting to that, but Leeds currently 3 points ahead of Nottingham Forest plus a better goal difference and 8 points above West Ham in the relegation zone. 2 points behind Bournemouth in 15th, 2 points behind Spurs in 14th, and 3 points behind Palace in 13th. So when you look at the deeper context of that, Crystal Palace manager has announced he's leaving at the end of the season. They've had talks because of his little outburst at the weekend. Gahey's gone to Manchester City, and there's now talk of Mateta going and possibly going to Aston Villa with Gusson coming the other way, who probably has struggled enough to settle in the Premier League anyway, so not necessarily an upgrade there. Spurs, depending on how the game is going as you listen to this, but in their Champions League game, Frank could be gone tonight, and they're in free fall as well. And if you look at Bournemouth, above them, they've sold Semenyo. So when you kind of take all that into consideration, Jerry, we seem to be the calmest, most sensibly run side in the bottom. Yeah. When did we ever think we'd say this? Like right now, there's chaos around us, and we're just quietly going about our business.
Well, as Leeds fans, we always look at the pessimistic side because we know it can happen. But as you say, we're just steadily picking up points. And I speak to any other fans and they go, "You're fine. Yeah, they're not even thinking of Leeds as relegation. Every time we see you picking up points." I'm still looking at how many we are away from West Ham. Anything above is a bonus. But get as many teams in between us and West Ham is important. You said Bournemouth lost Semenyo. I don't know if you've seen the game last night. That equaliser by Brighton was a credible overhead kick. It was a cracker. Tottenham, Frankel will get sacked tonight. They've only got 2 fit midfield players, and they're putting them out tonight just to be the sacrificial lamb. And he'll be gone. He'll be gone tomorrow morning, I reckon. Palace, Glasner, I'm surprised he's still in a job. His little outburst. He only spent 20, 30 million on your man from Spurs, Johnson, isn't it?
No, Johnson, Brand Johnson.
Yeah. But he said I only had 7 subs, but none of them would change the game. I'd be a bit fed up with those Crystal Palace sub, but they've missed a big opportunity to build from winning the cup and being backed, and they'll probably struggle now. I think they're imploding a bit. So every team play Everton, of course, who got that win against Villa. But a win on next Monday, and depending how the other results go, we could be so well placed. On the other hand, we could be right back in it. But I think we got enough nous there, and everybody's looking at Leeds now as a tough game. 1 defeat since November, and an unlucky one at that. 2 unlucky ones if you look at the Man City game and the way we're playing. We've got to be optimistic, but there's always that worry. Even when we went up under Bielsa and finished 9th, I wasn't contented till I think we beat Fulham late February, and we sort of thought, I think we're okay now. I said 3 wins, 6 draws, or 4 wins, 3 draws. I think that's doable with the games we've got, and let's hope that it comes quick and we can relax. But Yeah, everybody below. West Ham, you think, have they turned the corner, or did they just play a really bad Spurs team? They're home to Sunderland this week, who said got the players back, and that's that could go either way. Sunderland could have their little dip. Maybe West another win there, and all of a sudden they're on a run. That's a winnable game for them. But Sunderland's players back from the AFCON. By the way, did you see the end of AFCON? The only bit I watched of AFCON. It was mad.
What are you doing?
That Panenka.
Can someone just sack Infantino now as well? He refused to shake hands with the Senegalese players or present them with the trophy.
Oh really? I didn't. I thought it was extra time when I was watching it, and he was Yeah, I mean, why would he condone that? He's such an upright sort of moral guy, isn't he? But to see the penalty, and then the ball boy's taking the towel from the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
How the hell is this guy Webb? But that aside, that was funny to watch. That's the only bit of the AFCON I watched, actually. So yeah, results, we could begin in Monday night, and if all these games around us are draws, which they won't, but if they're all draws, say, that's not bad for us. And we go into the Everton game and thinking a draw won't be the worst result, and a win will be fantastic. So
just
it's a critical time. Yeah.
On a point with regards to Everton, they're sat 14th in the league for home form, by the way. So they've lost, won, lost, drawn in their last 5 home games.
New stadium syndrome a little bit, maybe.
I think that the ground's been tilting into the water a bit. I think they've had problems with levels.
Shoot that way in the first half.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see Jack, though. It'd be nice to see Jack Grealish.
Well, you'll enjoy that next week. Yeah, we'll get into that the weekend before the weekend.
It annoys me. They make him out to be man of the people, Jack Grealish. He's not. He's not a nice man at all. Don't like him at all. Really don't. Yeah, man of the people.
We'll give you your own segment next week, Jerry.
Yeah, that's all right, Jack. I'll be Jack Grealish to watch along.
I think so. Annoyed Jerry.
Have a watch along. Jack, you're no.
You could call it Jerry's gripes.
Yeah.
It'll be opposition fans, Jack Grealish or Declan Rice.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Thierry Henry, he's been on recently, hasn't he?
Well, he's another one. Yeah, we can add him to the list. Yeah, just in the interest of time, because we're getting on a little bit. Just to put up on the screen there that you can see it for those watching. West Ham United, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, and Spurs are the sides I have in with us in the relegation fight. Little did I think that those clubs would be very much in a relegation scrap this season. But that's the way they are. And again, only one side outside of us in that group picking up a win at the weekend. But Paul, we've come into this weekend. This is who they're all playing. So it's going to be again another interesting weekend. West Ham at home to Sunderland. They're all at home, bar Forest and us. So West Ham at home to Sunderland. Burnley at home to Spurs, who could be getting a new manager bounce by that stage, fingers crossed. Bournemouth at home to Liverpool. If they can start their form out, that would be fantastic. Crystal Palace at home to Chelsea. Everton and Leeds on the Monday night, and Brentford and Forest as well. So by the time we kick off on Monday night, we'll know exactly what we have to do. And we could be in a situation where we could be jumping up a couple of spots, or we could be in a position where we're just hanging on to what we've got right now. But not necessarily straightforward games, but there are some in there that they could get results. I mean, West Ham and Sunderland could be an interesting game, same as Brentford and Forest.
Yeah, it could be very, very interesting. I mean, when you look at it, Sunderland are 15th in the away league at this moment in time, but West Ham's home form is 19th for the season. So that's really, really bad. Interestingly, Burnley's home form is 18th in the league.
Well, was it West Ham? Did you send me the thing about West Ham who are asking their fans to not take their seats until the 15th minute?
Yeah, pretty much. So there's just so much. I think. I almost think that West Ham, and this is not anything against West Ham, I think West Ham need relegation just as a reset, because they can't keep doing the same things that they're doing at this moment in time. It's just not working for them at all. It's bonkers how mad it all is.
Getting rid of David Moyes really worked, didn't it?
Oh, getting rid of that always works. It's funny because you see the manager turnaround stuff and this is supposed to bring everybody back and everything. Every single managerial replacement this season, particularly down, I say this so far this season, but down the bottom end of the league, anyways, hasn't been the success that people expected it to be. Dyche hasn't absolutely set the world alight. Nuno hasn't set the world alight. You know, what's the manager of Wolves called? Is it
Rob Edwards?
Rob Edwards.
Rob Edwards.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
but too late.
It's far too late in terms of what he's actually done. But just you expect a new manager bounce, but it just hasn't worked so far this season. So it's going to be interesting because we're going to know what we're going to have to do on Monday night. So it'll be interesting to see how we approach the game. The thing is the type of team that's going to be playing on Monday night is going to be a complete 180 from the team that played against Everton at the start of the season. There's going to be a more confident team, a more assured team. You know, I think it could be a tasty game on Monday night.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, it'll be a very different game, as you say, from what we had earlier on in the season when we played them. Be less defensive, probably more goals in that game as well. We've been okay. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin going back to his old club, kind of. He wasn't never ever playing the Hill Dickinson Stadium, so yeah, I thought probably more Dock was better than Hill Dickinson, but that's just my own reference on stadium names. But yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll get into that more before the end of the weekend. Leeds have made a signing also, by the way, the Nigerian centre back. It's Njenje, isn't it? Yeah, has signed for the club officially. So we'll give you more detail on that in the morning in the news. So that'll be Jerry, you want to leave us with anything before we wrap up?
I watched another documentary that made me angry, the Salonika 73. If you get a chance to see that, about 70, it's worse than it's forgotten about. A lot of fans didn't know about it. It's worse than Paris. I mean, it was an absolute shocker, and it's a nice little documentary. I think it's on YouTube now, and feeling angry, but some great footage in there. And the guy who's interviewed, I want to go and visit his house because his memorabilia looked fantastic.
Incredible.
Some great stuff in there. The game was in black and white. I think I vaguely remember it because I was going to school way before you lads were ever existing. Norman Hunter punching somebody. It was great.
Punching somebody last night, yeah.
Robbed. And we should have. The thing that came out of that was Leeds apparently were offered a chance to replay the game and they said, nah, we're all right.
Because it would have been too much hassle and caused too much grief, apparently. But that's, if you want to see it, it's on the Paris 75 YouTube channel. It's Harvey Marcus who did the Paris 75 documentary. He had so much footage on the 73 one as well. He decided to put that out. It's about 25 minutes long, 28 minutes long. Good. It's an easy watch, 28 minutes, get a cup of coffee, sit down, chill. It'd be great to support Harvey as well. So the Paris 75 YouTube channel, you can check it out there.
So I'll be at the Howard Wilkinson, Hill Dickinson, Wilkinson Sword Stadium next Monday night, and whatever it's called. And I'll watch our cropped striker, Nemecha, who's got 5 goals, and our other guy who couldn't hit a barn door. He's on 9 goals, and that's not bad business. 2 free transfers. You show me a team in the Premier League or the top 5 leagues who've done business like that. Of course, we said it was spot on at the time. We knew. I said it. You look back. I said it. I said these guys are struggles.
Just you wait.
Yeah.
Paul, anything from you before we wrap up?
Yeah, Man City are losing 3-1 now. They were 3-0 down, and they've just brought it back to 3-1. So that's quite hilarious. So Bodo Glimt are beating Man City.
Rodri's been sent off.
Has he?
Yes. Second bookable, 62 minutes. Oh, it's all going wrong for City. If it wasn't Arsenal winning the league, but 115 reasons to be mad. Yeah.
And a many billion spent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he just has been sent off. Yeah, so anything to say? Don't eat yellow snow.
Important.
Yeah. Dog is for life, not just for Christmas.
Turkeys for Christmas, though.
Well, there are. Yeah, turkeys are for Christmas. Gobble, gobble. Tastes nice. All
right, then.
Check out my YouTube channel, The Leeds Therapy.
Yeah, Leeds Therapy. Check it out. Details below.
That'll do. Thanks. Cheers. At least you're the professional one of this outfit, I'm telling you. I'd struggle without you, Joe. Really would.
Holding it all together, just about.
I know.
Literally in the middle, yeah, exactly, yeah. Folks, we will wrap it up there. Massive thanks as always for listening or watching this. Actually, if you're watching this on Spotify, because now you can watch the videos on Spotify, so you will notice today that the news video is up there and on a video format as well as the audio on Spotify. It's not on iTunes on video; they don't do it just yet, but you can check it out if you want to see it. You'll have our faces on your screen. If you just like listening to voices, it's probably better for everybody. You can listen to us instead of that as well. I'd
go with the voices,
right? Right, folks. Massive thanks. I will see you in the morning for more Leeds news, and then we'll be back again. Another podcast before the weekend. Look right ahead to the Everton game and see where we are in terms of transfers at that point. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your days, enjoy your week. Sorry. Good luck. Anyway, bye.
Good boys.